Hello and welcome to my review of the DXO One. The DXO One is a few years old. We're maybe looking at 5 years old. It's a small handheld camera that can be used attached to your smartphone or not attached to your smartphone. So I'm going to do a review and talk about how useful it is in 2020. So you'll see here we have the smartphone attachment. And as you probably noticed, it can only be attached to iPhones and only more modern iPhones because it comes with an iPhone Lightning adapter. So first of all, you fold this down and that reveals the lens. The lens is a 35mm equivalent f1.8 and apparently this should give quality on par with the DSLR. On the top we've got a shutter button which when you half press triggers autofocus. On the back we've got a small LCD. And inside here we've got micro SD and we've got a micro SD card slot there. This you can use to attach a lanyard to if needed. And if we pull the lever down once more, the iPhone Lightning connector springs out. This can rotate, which is very useful. Pull it down and hold it and we can put that back in and we can just pack it up. This is small enough to go in your pocket. It's discreet enough that no one's going to notice it. So let's have a look at attaching it to a smartphone. So here is a smartphone and here is the DXO One. And the first thing you'll notice is it doesn't work with a case. So if I have a case on, this connector doesn't have enough room to fit in and it doesn't connect at all. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take your case off. And once your case is off, it will connect. And when it connects, it loads the app for DXO One. So here we've got the app for the DXO One. And what I like about this DXO One is I can move it about 45 degrees, which is really useful. So I can move it like this about 45 degrees. I can trigger the DXO One via the button here, or I can use touchscreen on the camera if I want to. See, we can see on this screen we've got the parameters here, we've got the battery life, we've got the mode, we've got the shutter speed and we've got the f-stop, and it also says RAW because this shoots in RAW. Now when this came out I don't think iPhones did. Modern iPhones do shoot in a RAW or TIFF format. So here on the app we've got our mode selector. We can select auto mode, we can select P, A, S and M mode, or we can do it by scene. I'm going to go for manual mode. So in manual mode, I can not only change the shutter speed by moving the value up and down. The key thing which you can't do on an iPhone is I can change the f-stop. Of course, on a smartphone, it's always fixed. I'm going to go for 1.8. I can change the ISO and I can put it in auto. And I can do exposure compensation. I can also do different metering modes, which is very useful, and I can do spot metering. On the DXO One, you can record video as well if you want to. I'm not going to focus on that too much. So when I take an image, it's saved on the DXO One, so it's saved to the memory card. The DXO One also has its own power, so it doesn't take lots of power from the smartphone. This is rechargeable and it recharges over micro USB. However, there's no removable battery, so you're stuck with the internal rechargeable battery in the DXO One. What I do like is being able to shoot portraits like this. So if I can shoot in portrait orientation, I find that really quite useful to be able to shoot like this. It doesn't look like it's particularly useful at the moment, but it is much easier doing portraits with this than using your standard smartphone. You can also take images without using the smartphone. When it's detached from the smartphone, it just has a host of dots really. However, it's good enough to get a composition with. So if I do this, I can see the dots change and I can do composing, half press to get focus lock on, and then full press to get a exposure. So I can connect the DXO One to my smartphone and then I can set it up the way I want it to, or if I want to I can scroll through just by swiping and touching. I can scroll through settings and modes here. I can't change exposure values, but I can say switch to video or I can switch to auto mode, etc. But what I can do, I can set my values up on my smartphone and then I can just go around and I can just take pictures like this. Now you can see in the video that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking a picture here of some people in orange tops, and I'm using the DXO One without the smartphone. And you can see here an example of me using the DXO One attached to my smartphone. We're going to have a look at some images that I've taken with my DXO One. I think you'll agree they're very good images. They're probably better than just me using my smartphone. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare, in a sort of low light situation in my shed, just taking a picture of my mannequin with my smartphone using the native camera app and using the DXO One. So we've got a comparison between what we would get from an iPhone 6s and what we would get from using the DXO One.